of Table Mountain stands the school with Herzl's name, ours to share with pride and honor in his everlasting fame. Im Tirzu, if you will, you do. We will pledge it every day, that we'll give of our best with joy and zest in every way. We are young and proud and fearless in the springtime of our years, and we know that spread before us is a life of joy and tears. Im Tirzu, if you will, you do. That's the precept we'll obey, and we'll follow the rule of Herzliya School in every way. Grant us that we'll walk forever in Torah's eternal light. Lead us forward, Lord, to choose what is always true and right. Im Tirzu, if you will, you do. We proclaim to near and far, and loyal will stay in work and play in every way.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Celebrating 80 studio with your hosts Jeff Cohen and Lisa Chait.
Hello everybody and welcome to this incredible event. Jeff, I'm just feeling really emotional after listening to that song.
This is just so amazing. Welcome Herzliya family. This is just so amazing. Not quite the way we envisaged it being, because we were going to have a live concert at the Cape Town International Convention Centre, but because of COVID we're here in our own made-up studio in the school library.
I remember years and years ago, we were having an argument a while back, and I was saying this wasn't built when I was at school. I matriculated in '84, and you said it was built. This was the library when you were a pupil here.
It absolutely was. I matriculated in 1976, and there was definitely a library here. So I think I won that argument, Lisa.
But the thing that kind of softened our argument is us looking at this stream of incredible people who have logged on already, and we can see the chats and all of your messages, and we'll be mentioning those to you as we go through the evening. Over 1,000 people registered for this event, and Jeff, it obviously means that their partners, friends and family members around the computer or the cell phone or whatever it is are on as well. So just imagine probably more than 5,000 people watching and taking part right now, including my brother Norman from Israel. Shalom, Manyani.
Oh, well, if you mention your family, can I mention my two boys, one in Canada and one in the UK. Glad that you guys are watching. I saw your names pop up, and it's so amazing seeing all these names. Jack Levine and Leora from Houston in Texas, Sandra Morrow, class of 81 in Lisbon, Portugal. We literally have people in 48 countries of the world. This is unbelievable.
Can I do a few? There's Debbie Stain, and thanks guys, because you're mentioning your maiden names, which is very helpful and exciting. Mazel Tov says, Debbie, wonderful memories of my years at Herzliya. Debbie Stain, Sklar, class of 1971. And you mentioned Jack. There's one more, Michael Langford, hola, from Cusco in Peru. It's quite incredible, the spread of the people who are on this
And lovely
evening.
to see Jim Goodacre joining us. Jim was principal of Constantia for so many years. Lovely to see your name pop up, Jim. I hope you're doing really well.
And Sharon Sutner, Sharon Perlin Sutler, 1968. So Jeff, this evening is about celebrating 80 years of Herzliya, and we're going to be seeing an incredible presentation with song and history, which you've seen. It's a surprise for me.
Well,
What do you want to say
I'm sure you're going to love it. But
Yeah.
to start off with, as is tradition at Herzliya, we never start a function without a devout Torah or some words of wisdom from our sources. And it gives me great pleasure to have asked Ephraim Mervis from the class of 1973, who is now the Chief Rabbi of the United Kingdom and the British Commonwealth. He's prepared a beautiful devout Torah for us and a lovely message. So over to you, Rabbi.
I would like to extend my best wishes and congratulations to everyone associated with Herzliya School in Cape Town on the occasion of your 80th anniversary. Mazel Tov. The Talmud teaches that the primary protectors of a city are not the soldiers, but rather they are the teachers. Soldiers are crucially important, but teachers are even more so. And sure enough, if we reflect on our long and challenging history, we will discover that sadly on so many occasions we have needed to defend ourselves on the battlefield against foes who have sought to annihilate us physically. In addition to that, thanks to our teachers, we have been able to strengthen our Jewish identity because in truth, without Jewish education, we would have no Jewish future. Our teachers within our schools provide the ultimate protection for the Jewish people. Fascinatingly, the Hebrew word for education, which is chinuch, is derived from the same word as the Hebrew word for dedication, which is Chanukah. So what do chinuch and Chanukah have in common? Well, you see, you can only have successful education if there is absolute dedication. And that has been the story of the journey of Herzliya in Cape Town over the past 80 years. Such incredible dedication and commitment has been shown by some extraordinary women and men. The founders of the school in 1940, those who were responsible for purchasing the land, for developing the campus, the principals, the staff, everybody responsible for being generous in order to guarantee that the school would be able to thrive and continue. And of course, all the students. Without the absolute dedication to the task, Herzliya would never have been able to provide such outstanding education. And then as well, you can only have true dedication if there is responsible education. There's no value to being committed to something if you haven't been properly informed about it. And we want, more than anything, to have committed and dedicated Jewish adults in the future who will be able to responsibly pass on their Jewish tradition and heritage through to the generations to come. And in order to achieve that goal, we must provide the very best Jewish education to our children of today. Wherever I travel around the world, I'm so delighted to meet up with alumni of Herzliya School, and we always bond together in such a special way because we know that we share a background. We have been privileged to be amongst the students of Herzliya, and I number myself amongst one of many, many thousands who have been blessed to have been educated at Herzliya. The Mishnah tells us, Ben Shmonim Ligvura. When one turns 80, one attains added strength. And that is our wish for Herzliya, now celebrating its very special 80th birthday. For 80 years, the school has been incredibly strong. Strong in terms of its facilities, strong in terms of the overall education, strong in terms of Yiddishkeit. And now, please God, at this very significant milestone, may the school be blessed with future success. That will only happen with the absolute dedication of the community, of past students, of everybody connected with the school to guarantee that the school will continue to thrive and to succeed well into the future. Indeed, as you turn 80, may this be a time for Gevurah, so that you will go from strength to added strength. Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you. You know, I'm really struck by the fact that Herzlier's alumni not only spread all around the world, that we can see, we know in our hearts, we know factually, and we can also see on this incredible stream of those of you who are posting your names and where you're from. But what people have achieved, Herzliya alumni, the Rabbi Mervis, I mean, they're just such an incredible network of people around the world who come from right here. I mean, this was, as I said, the library when we were at school.
This is the beauty of Herzliya. All over the world, we have these unbelievably successful alumni who maybe struggle along through school from time to time.
You're talking about?
I'm talking about myself. But when I see these guys popping their names up, it's just so amazing to see how wonderfully successful they've become. I noticed, looking at the screen, my very, very oldest friend, who I've been friendly with for nearly 60 years, Mervyn Beck, has popped up there. Hi, Merv. And I remember, Merv, that you and I used to babysit the Child family because they lived in the same road as you. Do you remember that, Lisa?
I do, and I remember you and Mervyn and Harvey Plax. Harvey, I don't know if you're watching, but of course in those years when Mr. Katz was the principal of the school, you couldn't tie your hair up in a little ponytail like you can now. The guys had long hair because you were in high school, and when were you in high school?
In the 70s.
In the 70s, so long hair and bell bottoms were the thing. And you guys used to put hairnets on your hair.
Oh, yeah.
And
How
then,
did you know that?
Yeah, down there, we see hairnets, and then somebody got a pen caught in the hairnet because you were trying to hide your long hair from Mr. Katz. So whether that has relevance for the current day or not, I think it's hilarious. Mervyn, I know you're laughing now.
It's true, we actually did used to do that.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But on to other things. One of the things that we all learned at school, all those years at Pesach Seders, was Ledor Vador, from generation to generation. And one of the people at Herzliya who epitomizes the Ledor Vador, generation to generation, is Philip Kravitz. Philip was a pupil, a parent, a grandparent. He was chairman of a PTA, chairman of the coordinating council. He was chairman of the United Herzliya Schools Board of Governors, and he's now the chairman of our Board of Trustees. So he's just about done everything. And it's our pleasure to ask Philip to say a few words. Over to you, Philip.
Golda Meir once put it beautifully. She said, "It's not important whether your grandparents were Jewish. What is important is whether your grandchildren will be." And how privileged am I today to be sitting with some of my grandchildren, another two in Israel, all of who went to Herzliya as third generation Kravitz family. Amanda, Martine, Lauren were all at Herzliya, and we've grown up as a Herzliya family. But there's something very important that we should understand. My late parents were not people of substantial means. They made a tremendous sacrifice to send me to Herzliya. That was the greatest gift they ever gave me. There is no other gift that a parent can give a child which can never be taken away. At Herzliya, we give you something magnificent. We give every child a backpack of values that they will take with them anywhere in the world and continue the legacy of Judaism, the legacy of a love for Medinat Yisrael, a legacy of values which make them unique anywhere in the world.
Happy 80th birthday, Herzliya!
Thanks so much, Philip. That was really wonderful. One of the things that are so important at our school is the amazing commitment that our lay leaders and our parents have shown to the school over so many decades. PTA, moms and dads, people that served on our Board of Governors and on our Board of Trustees have been so committed to our school. So if you were a member of one of those organizations and you're somewhere in the world and you can relate a story, just pop it onto the chat show. We'd love to pick that up and have a look at that. And I remember so well, going back all the years into the early 70s when we were busy building Van Riebeeck Field, we actually used to go with wheelbarrows with our dads, mine and yours, and
More than
and
likely,
the whole
yeah.
bunch of guys. And we actually picked up the rocks and the stones off Van Riebeeck Field to clear it to make way for the builders to come in and smooth the field out.
You know, you're talking about the PTA. Both my parents were on the PTA. My father was also involved in the school.
He was the chairman, if
He
I'm not
was actually the
mistaken.
chairman. And I think I said earlier, 4 of our family. And I mean, when we say this, we're speaking for so many of you watching. You know, often it wasn't, if there was one of the family members who went to the school, it was everybody. But I remember, Jeff, during the state of emergency, it must have been the 1980s, because I was at school in the 80s, that my dad was one of many, many dads, who actually patrolled around the school like a shmirah up and down Deer Park Drive. And it's just, I mean, that was the extent that to which people got involved and still do.
And they still do, and it's a great big thank you to all of them for the beautiful work that they do for us. But I'm still watching the names streaming through on this screen in front of me, and I see Morris Purcell in Atlanta. It's amazing to see you. And then my very, very favorite pupil. I'm not really supposed to have favorites, but I have had favorite
As a
pupils over
teacher
time.
or as head of education?
As a principal.
Oh, as a principal, okay.
And that's Jody Schaffer, and I can see Jody's popped up on the screen. Well done, Jody, for popping your name up there. Great to hear from you.
And Kerry Fox from London, Pam Levy from San Diego. It'd be so cool if we had like we can zoom around
It'd be
and
nice
show.
to have the faces on, but unfortunately we don't have that.
Maurice Purcell from Houston, and can we have a look at some of the other ones? Archie Nachman, first graduating class of Herzliya in Hope Street, 1956.
Wow.
He says, I'm in Massachusetts, United States now. Any classmates out there? So we encourage you to do shout outs, and we'll do the best we can. Let's scroll. There's Dawn Lewis. It's Frank Lewis, obviously using Dawn's computer. Frank Lewis, London, 1963. Mazel Tov Herzliya.
Awesome,
And it just
amazing.
goes
Keep
on
it
and
coming,
on.
guys, keep it coming.
Can I
We
do
love
one more?
seeing your names.
Trevor Goot, Mazel Tov Herzliya, special moment watching together. Zila Stern, Nee Anstey, 1972. Trevor Goot, 1993. Saren Goot, 1998. See, it's exactly as what I was saying. Laura Stern, 2001. And Lev and Shayla Goot, Weizmann students.
Awesome.
Yeah. Where are we going
Brilliant.
next? What's happening next?
You're going to introduce our next speaker.
Yes. Okay. Is that me?
That's you.
Oh, it's me. Yes, very, very important. So we've been talking about the excitement of everybody. We're talking about the fact that it's decades, it's 80 years, celebrating Herzliya, 80 years. And it couldn't happen without global support, which started off in Cape Town, Hope Street, Herzliya as it grew in terms of the donor base, South African donor base, and then of course went international. So we thank you to our global donors who have and continue to donate, and also to the Herzliya Foundation Trust. Long may it continue.
Hello, I'm David Ginsberg. I'm so proud to have been Director of Finance and Administration at Herzliya Schools for over 32 years. I'm really extra proud of the fact that we've been able to fulfill the promise that no Jewish child is denied a Jewish education for genuine financial reasons by virtue of the generous donations of the Jewish community in Cape Town, the Herzliya Foundation, and friends and benefactors abroad. In this, our 80th year, I wish Herzliya nothing but success going forward.
Thanks, David, for that message. And now for something quite special. Lisa, the other day I walked into one of our old lost property rooms. You won't believe what is lying there. And I pulled out some stuff from this amazing desk. I'm sure that all of you will remember these desks that lifted up. Those of you who had Mr. Novitz as your teacher, he used to hold the desk and then bang it down, so it made a big noise.
He also used to say, I can add up your marks on the back of a postage stamp. Remember that?
He did indeed. So I found the Herzliya magazine from 1969. That was amazing.
Let me see.
Isn't that amazing? And the boys that were in the 60s and 70s, do you remember this cap? I found this in our property. It actually got a name in it, so I don't want to embarrass the person. It's probably be, you want to do that?
Oh, no, I'll ask
Okay,
our
do it.
director.
While you're looking for the name, I found a little dress, a pinafore. Those are the dresses we used to use, the girls obviously. And then at some stage in the early days, the boys in primary school had a safari suit, and this is a little top of a safari suit. Look how cute that is.
I have to see that. Let me hold it up for the camera and you can keep going. Guys, look at this. Isn't it the cutest thing?
With the grey socks and a shoe. You can't believe what I found. I found somebody's key, an alarm, so if you're missing your key, it's still in lost property.
Hopefully a house key, not a car key while you were still at school.
A pair of Ray-Ban glasses, so that's probably quite a lot of money in that.
Do you remember these? We had hats. Do you
I've
remember
got
those?
one
We
of
had
those,
these little
absolutely. Look, here it is. It's a beret.
A beret. Oh my
The
goodness.
girls used to wear the beret.
Guys, do you remember this? And we also had in sub A, where I had a patch on my glasses, we had those little, Matilda little hats that we wore.
Correct,
Remember
they were
those?
like little straw.
Can I say the
white-
name of the person?
You can, go for
Okay,
it.
it's Barry Lipshin. Please can you come and fetch your hat? It's in the lost property house.
And of course, in those days, we wore ties, and here's an old primary school tie.
Jeff, I think we're going to keep on going through all of that, and maybe we'll do a list at the end of everything.
Cool.
But it's time for show time. I've got my popcorn. Have you got your
And
popcorn?
I've got my popcorn. So, guys, take out your popcorn and your cold drinks because we are going to watch a video.
We're going to celebrate 80. Enjoy.
Have fun.
You could start off and just introduce yourself.
And at what stage do you want to tell them? You see, like, everybody knows that I was the first head boy.
But a lot of people don't know. I didn't know.
No, 'cause a lot of my friends, when they introduce me to them, they say, "Oh, and Jack was the first head boy." But even those blokes don't know that I was head boy for 6 years. My name is Jack Schneider, and I was the first head boy at Hertzler.
My name is Anton Pepino. I'm the principal at Weitzman. I've been principal here for the last 9 years. I started at Weitzman in Standard 1. For me, it's surreal because having come to Weitzman, sometimes I walk in and I remember my 10-year-old self walking in with my friends and kind of the principal's office and all the rest, and kind of I stop and look and go, well, that's now me.
My name is Taya Allardyce. I'm in grade 9 and I am the head student at Hertzler Middle School. Anyone can be a leader as long as you have the qualities and the commitments and the passion, then anyone can be a head student, whether you're a girl or a boy. I do try to be there for the rest of the school if they need anything from the middle school and if I can help them in any way, that I am there.
The head of sport at Weitzman actually passed away, so they asked me to come and fill in for him till they found someone else. And they didn't find anyone else, fortunately, so I must have done okay. From the moment I stepped foot down the soccer fields, I really enjoyed it. I've never worked with kids before, but it was absolutely fantastic. My name is Ben Anderson. I've been involved at the school for 34 years. I've been head of sport during that time.
You got yeah. We met when the schools combined in middle school, grade 7, and then I think there was like an outing or something.
It was by the beach, and I tripped over a rock gracefully.
Yeah, chivalrous me was there to rescue her.
He was always like somebody to me that I could just easily be together forever.
From the moment we got together, I really just wasn't interested in being with anybody else.
My name is Nikki van Deerman, and
I'm Dan van Deerman.
We met at Hertzler in grade 9. Have been together for 22 years, and we've been married for 12.
I started at Hertzler in 1965 in Sub A when I was 7 years old. I wasn't a great student. I was only interested in sport, and I played sport literally 7 days a week. The principal of the high school called my parents in and said that they should consider taking me out of Hertzler because I probably wouldn't amount to anything. And never in my wildest dreams imagined that I would become a teacher, never mind a principal or a director of education. I'm Jeff Cohen, and I'm the Director of Education at Hertzler School.
Hi, I'm Jackie Meskin. I'm subject head of dramatic arts, and I'm also the assistant head of the grade 12 year group. And I heard about a summer camp in America that was for actors training to be in the industry. So you couldn't apply as a counsellor unless you were able to direct theatre and teach drama. And then I would say I came home quite besotted with teaching.
I was a student here for 12 years, and I've been a teacher or a principal at Herzliya for 42 years. My name's Ronnie Gotkin, and I am currently the Director of Hebrew Studies, which means that I teach Hebrew at the high school, and I'm in charge of Hebrew across all the Herzliya schools. I've been here my whole life, and just to get up every morning, going into a job that you feel is meaningful is something that not everybody gets in life.
Gerald was in my brother's class, and we never really went out at school, but I always knew Gerald.
I'm Gerald Diamond. I'm married to Ashna, and we got married in 1973, and we've been married for 47 years.
We've actually been married for 46 years. Where you come with 47, I don't know. Or is it 47?
So I think this year's been unique. Going through an educational process during COVID's been probably the most difficult in the last 20 years that I've been involved in education.
Following the President's announcements last night, we are just about ready to tell you what our lockdown return plans are.
The highs have definitely been having the children back at school, kind of watching the excitement as they come into school, how quickly they've transitioned to new routines of being screened and having to sanitize regularly and things like that. The resilience that the children have displayed have been incredible.
The Herzliya School was started in 1940. Europe was at war, Jews were being decimated, and a group of founding fathers and mothers decided to create a Jewish school in Cape Town to ensure that every Jewish child would have the opportunity of receiving a Jewish education. It was a real struggle to encourage people to send their children to Herzliya. Many people felt that their children need to be in a school where there were many religions. It seemed that they were creating a ghetto mentality for the Jewish population of Cape Town.
On the corner of Mill Street and Beautycan Street was where I was born in 1940, the year that the school started. When I got to school-going age, my parents put me at Herzliya, where I would say most of my other friends either basically went to Saks. The boys and girls who were at school before me, unfortunately, when they got to grade 7, that was the end of the school at Herzliya. Then they had to leave the school to continue high school.
In those 1940s, Herzliya started off with one class, and each year more pupils came into the system and more classes were created, more teachers were employed, and the numbers grew.
When I got to grade 7, the governing body decided they were going to go for a high school. So what happened, my class every year after that was the first class, grade 8 to grade 12. And every year they voted for prefects and head prefect, and every year they kept me in the job.
We started off in the early days in Hope Street, and then in 1956, the high school building was built, which housed sub-A to matric, all in one building. And then the building became too small.
Across the ocean, a new world calls across the sky, a new world whispers in the shadows, time to fly, time to fly.
I think that one of the key elements of our school, right from the very beginning, was to ensure that our pupils were taught the traditions, the customs, and the ethics of being a good young Jew. We have to keep changing, we have to keep moving with the new ideas and the new methodologies, but it's even more important that the tenets of respect, dignity, morals, ethics of our people is passed from generation to generation. The Dor Vador, it says in our Haggadah.
What I see as our role within here is we've got to give our children a basket of tools. And those tools will enable them as they go forward, especially within a Judaic context, be able to dip into that toolbox at different parts of their life. And people find different things within that toolbox at different stages. Some, kind of find that journey earlier on, others only when they become parents. But we've got to give everyone the tools.
In the 1960s and 70s, people were going to soccer on a Friday night to go and watch Cape Town City or Eleni. It was a big thing, so you would go to shul, we would go to Minyan Yosef, go home, have a quick supper, and then go to soccer. Our parents, my parents, for example, worked until 9 o'clock on a Friday night. So we never had a Friday night together. So Herzliya taught us, it grounded us in terms of our Yiddishkeit and our Jewish values.
Every Yontif, everything was done at the school pertaining to what it was all about. When anybody from Israel ever came to Cape Town, they always used to get them to come to the school to talk to us. What a person does after school, that's over to them. But I don't think anybody ever forgets the background, the basics that they learned at the school.
I think it's important to learn about who we are, where our family and where our ancestors came from. When you learn about who you are, you can learn about how to be a better you. We can relate to our parents and our grandparents, maybe even our great-grandparents about these traditions and that were a part of people's lives even so many years ago.
I think that if you learn about a culture or a civilization, not only from a religious point of view, and you can't speak the language of that culture, it's always secondhand. The spirit is different, the atmosphere is different, the words are not always accurately translated. So I think a true and rich Jewish education requires Hebrew.
One of the many joys I have are the number of visitors that I get from overseas and locally, but when people come back to Herzliya with their families, with their husbands and wives and children or boyfriends and girlfriends. And sometimes I'm blown away at how successful these young people have become. Kids that were struggling through school, battling away, as we all do from time to time, and they've developed into the most beautiful, wonderful people. And they've done it on their own, together with family and the community and everything else. But I do think that Herzliya plays an important role in the formative years in getting them to reach the levels that they've reached.
When I grow up, I will be tall enough to reach the branches that I need to reach to climb
We're given a lot of independence, especially at the middle school, and I think even more so when we get to the high school. There's so many different parts of the school. There's Menschlichkeit and sports and academics, and we're always encouraged to be well-rounded and to take part in as much as we can. It's not always easy and comfortable for all of us. Sometimes we're not very cultural or sporty, but I think in that way we're always pushed to go out of our comfort zone and become better.
Close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care, so call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. I'm in dreams that keeping me awake.
We have 7,000 plus alumni living in 48 countries of the world. And one of my greatest joys is that I'm able to go and visit these communities from time to time to hold reunions. And the connections that our alumni have amazes me every time I'm overseas in a city where our Herzliya family come together.
Our dynamic within our friendship group has always been really easy because we're actually still friendly with the same people today.
I mean, obviously, first of all, my wife, that's an amazing enough story that we've been together for as long as we have from school. But, my oldest and best friend, I've been friends with for 33 years, and we're still as close today. And it's just amazing that we've managed to keep those connections together without it being like a massive effort. Our daughter now is at one of our best friends from school. Our kids are now playing together as we're filming this. So it's just been one of those full circle things. And I guess you feel connected to something bigger than yourself, when you realize that we've all known each other and been part of each other's lives from when we met in these four walls.
I've got one friend who I met when we started school, and she used to pick me up, and we used to walk up to school. And we've been friends ever since we started school in 1956.
The big shuls were in town. That's how we got to meet everybody. When it got to Yontif, we all used to congregate at shul. So we would walk from the one shul to the other, and of course in Simchas Torah, we had to get chocolates from every shul, and that was part of what everybody did. The difficult one was to get chocolates from gardens. They were always a tough nut to crack. There are, 5 couples who were guys in my year who married girls in her year, and are all still married. So we're all in late 40s, going close to 50 years of marriage. And in fact, we spoke to one of them in Sydney this morning.
I think we're a family. And like all families, sometimes we fight and there's conflict. But I think certainly while you're here, there is a sense of togetherness. We're a community school. And as a community school, I think, everybody, some of the kids, their mothers or fathers are teachers at the school. Or they're involved in the community, or we have friends who are mutual friends. At the end of the day, there is that sense of togetherness and collegiality amongst the staff, obviously, and a sense of the pupils as well, that this isn't them versus the teachers, that we're all in it together.
The one thing that I've seen year after year after year, the moment people need help, our pupils are the first to come round and offer their assistance. I often have to go into shiva houses and I see how friends just rally round, young kids coming to the Shiva house, being there for their friends, and when times are tough, gathering around together as a little community. Those are the things that are important. One of our key pillars at our school is to be a mensch, somebody who is kind, considerate, has good values, good morals. Those are the key elements that makes us a family.
It always feels like you've got someone that you can rely on. You've always got a friend, even maybe someone you don't know very well, but you know they're a part of the Herzliya family and you can relate to them and you know that in some way they'll be there for you.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, and when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you'll reach up and you'll rise again. Lift your head and look around. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found. You will be found.
There's a place where you don't have to feel alone. Every time that you call out, you're a little less alone.
If you only say the word,
From across the silence, your voice is heard.
someone will come running. Oh, to take you home.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, when you're broken on the ground, you will be found. So let the sun come streaming in, 'cause you reach up and you rise again. If you only look around, you will be found. You will be
You will be found.
We want to produce kids with chutzpah and seichel. And we tread a very thin line as educators and as parents of enabling our kids to be a little bit more forward than most of the traditional schools. And we encourage our pupils to challenge us. And that's tough. When you encourage kids to challenge, they're going to challenge. But that's okay. That is something that we do teach at Herzliya, that we're proud of.
We do give voice to our children and allow them to question. I think that's very much an inherent kind of quality within our school, within Judaism, is to question. It is just balancing when that is appropriate.
There was no teacher that particularly wouldn't let you ask a question and wouldn't have an open discussion with you about anything. You've got an open mind, and therefore we accept that no two people have got the same outlook on things. The very fact that I spent 3 years at University of Stellenbosch, being a Cape Town English-speaking person, they came to with khaki pants and veldskoene, and me coming from Arandeshoek, they used to call me a ducktail, wearing coloured socks and whatever. I was completely different to everybody else there, but I had no problem mixing with them.
There is something different about working at Herzliya because Herzliya, we've got chutzpah and we're brave. And every year, I obviously, as part of the matric process, I'll market other schools, and the work is always fantastic. But a lot of the time, it just misses that edge that Herzlians give because they're brave and they go for it. And Herzlians are taught to fight for what they believe in, to engage in a lesson. It's okay to have an argument, to have a discussion within class, because this is how we become critical thinkers.
Many of our parent body today are alumni of the school. When pupils leave Herzliya at the end of matric, they sometimes tend to move away from the structure of the customs and traditions maybe that we taught them at Herzliya. Yet the fascinating thing is that the minute these young people start forming relationships, deciding to settle down, have children, those values come flooding back because they seem to want it for their children. And that is the process, I think. I think they need a little bit of a break from the structures that Herzliya gave, time to think, explore, and then come back again when the time is right.
And all shall fade, the flowers of spring, the world and all the sorrow at the heart of everything. But still it stays, the butterfly sings and opens purple summer with the flutter of its wings. The earth will wave with cold. The gray fly choir will mourn, and mares will neigh with stallions that they mate, foals they've borne, and all shall know the wonder of purple summer.
I always felt that Herzliya was brilliant in terms of the balance that I needed. And I've always said, I would like it to be as good a fit for my daughter. God willing, it stays a good fit throughout, but I'll let her guide that. If I could give her the experience that I had, I mean, obviously I met her mother there, so what an awesome kind of full circle thing. It feels good, it feels right.
It's like this whole supported system that we understand, and therefore we have confidence.
I had 3 of my daughters who went to Herzliya. I was happy to drive from Milnerton to Herzliya every day between me and my wife. We brought the kids to school, we fetched them home. We didn't mind the schlepping at all. My 2 grandchildren who live with me at the moment, they went through Herzliya, and I carried on driving from Milnerton to Herzliya and backwards and forwards. It was a pleasure.
אבי הרים צלול
Over the years, education has changed. We are in the process of developing a whole new educational experience for our pupils. We've started a recent program called Project-Based Learning, doing projects together which combines a whole range of subjects at the same time to ensure that when our pupils do leave Herzliya and they go all over the world and they go to universities all over the world, that they have the skills necessary for the 21st century.
You do have to adapt. Pupils that are in matric this year are completely different to my very first matric group of 2008. They're completely different. Technology's taken over, dynamics are different. They're so much more aware. Just, it's wonderful how aware they are around social injustice, politics. Quite alarming, actually, if you compare where pupils were at 12 years ago.
We have a number of assemblies where we try to educate everyone about what's going on in the world. We've touched on different forms of discrimination, and I think ignorance is dangerous.
In 1997, Herzliya started its inclusion program. I think at that time we were one of the very few mainstream schools in the country. And today, I'm so proud to say that all of our campuses are fully inclusive. Many of our pupils sit in class with a facilitator. This has become a norm in our school. Every single child who wants to be here has the right to be here. So I think the impact that Herzliya has had on my life has been enormous. It's given me opportunities I couldn't have dreamed of in the past.
The single most important thing that Herzliya taught me was that if you work, imtirtu einzuagada. You know, if you will it, it's not a dream. You can achieve it. There's no obstacle that you can't overcome. I've lived by that all my life.
Possibly my days at Herzliya were the happiest days of my life.
We've never disconnected from it, really. It's always been part of our lives.
And I guess we would never have met if it wasn't for Herzliya School. So like...
Thanks, Herzliya.
You can't stop today as it comes speeding round the track. Yesterday is history and it's never coming back. 'Cause tomorrow is a brand new day and it don't know white from black. 'Cause the world keeps spinning around and around and my heart's keeping time to the speed of the sound. I was lost till I heard the drums and I found my way. 'Cause you can't stop the beat. Ever since we first saw the light, a man and woman like to shake it on a Saturday night. So I'm gonna shake and shimmy it with all of my might today. 'Cause you can't stop the motion of the ocean or the rain from above. They can try to stop the paradise we're dreaming of, but you cannot stop the rhythm of your heart singing love to stay. 'Cause you can't stop the beat. 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 Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wasn't that unbelievable? I'm sure that you all had the same kind of feeling as all those pictures were shown and all the songs. It was just amazing, Lisa.
stunning,
And you know
yeah.
that Bev Chait, who sang on the laptop, was
Yeah.
actually in Hong Kong, where she's
Amazing.
performing in an opera. She's one of our really wonderful opera singers that came out of Herzliya.
But I was watching you, and I mean, Jeff's not the only one who were. You still got very moving tears in your eyes, and the range of talent. And a lot of you may be thinking who the performers were, and at the end of this production tonight. In the credits, everybody's names will be there, but it's testament to the fact that there's just so much talent.
Unbelievable.
It's just
And
so much talent.
I don't know if you know this, Lisa, but we have our own recording studio at Hertzler now in our music department, and every single one of the songs and all the music was done in our own studio at home here at Hertzler. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, yeah, and also to all the people who put that together, and even here in our studio in the library, in the media center, at the center of the universe tonight. Just incredible, hey? The level of
In fact, I think so many more people are watching us because we're in a studio and we've gone live around the world, whereas a concert at home wouldn't have had as many people. So
Well, we
I
know
think
that
COVID helped us a little bit with this, didn't it?
It's like the only upside of COVID. But we know that over 1,000 people, just to remind some of you, you may have come in late, but over 1,000 people registered for this evening. And that means, we were saying earlier, just to repeat it for those of you who came in later, it means that there are probably about 3,000 to 4,000 people. And looking at the chats, which you've all been having a look at, and us too, it's just unbelievable. Do you want to have a chat or feedback some of them?
Let's have a look and see. There's somebody in...
Do you need your glasses?
I need my glasses.
Put your glasses. I'll do this one. Neil Gordon, Mazel Tov Hertzler, awesome production. Guys, say where you're from and say what class you're in, and if you're married, say your maiden name.
There's Helene Meyer says, the spirit of Hertzler lives on. Just amazing. Helene Meyer, Tucker, 1979.
Oh, there's Manny Curzon. Manny, hello. I remember you from school. Ronnie Gotkin had the patience of Job with me. Actually, all the teachers did. Sean Borstrock, hello Sean from Cape Town. I can't think of any other school where connections are so deep.
Amazing. There's Marcel Kapaken. During this pandemic, I would like to, it's disappeared immediately. Sorry about that. Here it goes again. I would like to send my very best wishes to the Hertzler family at large, and in particular, my classmates. Stay healthy and be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep them coming in, guys. It's looking amazing.
And put the date that you matriculated and also maiden names. In the meantime, Grant Berman, Mazel Tov, and to great memories from San Diego and Tamara Isaacman, Mazel Tov Hertzler, from 3 generations of proud Hertzlians. Benny Schlossberg, class of 1957, Tamara Schlossberg, Isaacman, 1986, Robert Schlossberg, 1988, Genevieve Utian, 2018, Gabriel Schlossberg, 2020, and Kylie.
Awesome.
That's cool. That is so cool. And there's David Padovitz from Cape Town. They're moving it up and down for us. Hi, David. I think that the feeling that we're getting is that everybody's just enjoying this so much, and they were just so moved by that incredible production, which I saw for the first time now.
That's great, and I think it's amazing that so many people are writing in and talking to each other on the chat line because they're connecting with each other.
Yes,
There's Evan Kagan. Hi, Rabbi Kagan. Used to work at Hertzler as well. Thanks for your message.
And Karen Kaimovitz, Mazel Tov Hertzler, lots of exclamation marks and kisses. So proud to be past and present Hertzlians. Love. Warren, 1991. Karen, 1992. Julia, grade 11. And Adam, grade 6, Kaimovitz.
Oh, brilliant.
Cool. Where are we going next?
Okay, so I'm thinking if somebody's trying to get in live with us.
Oh, okay. Let's have who's trying to get through to us?
It looks like Hillary.
Hillary Waters. Wasn't she a teacher?
She is a teacher right now. In fact, she retires at the end of this year after giving over 40 years of dedication to Hertzler teaching. Isn't that amazing?
So my 1 year doesn't count?
No, it doesn't count at all.
Okay, cool.
Not when you compare it to Hillary.
Totally. So can we get her
Let's
up?
see if we can get her on.
Hi guys, Jeff, Lisa, can you hear me? Yeah. All good. Okay, listen, I'm a bit at a loss for words having watched that video, and I just want this moment, if it's possible, just to actually add my little bit here, because this school, Jeff, maybe you know more than Lisa, it's such an enormous part of my life. 41 years in service as a teacher, loving every minute of it. But actually my journey starts a lot earlier as a pupil. So I think if I add it all up, it's like 53 years of my life enmeshed in the school. And I just don't know if people will know with my stories maybe a bit different, because I grew up in Aranja, and attending Hertzler was only due to the Hertzler Foundation Trust, really. Had I not had that opportunity, heaven knows what my life story would have been. And I honestly, it's just like it's an enormous part of my life. And I just hope in some small way, in some small measure, that in my career that I've shown my gratitude and for that start in life, these nameless benefactors who kind of helped make my life work for me. I mean, without that start, I just don't know. So really, if I can just actually say, there's so much about Hertz there that I salute, and this 80th and birthday celebration is just too wonderful. So my own, thank you to all those benefactors out there who've changed children's lives. Thank you so much.
Hey Herzlians, Shalom from Jerusalem. Reflecting on Herzliya at 80 during these pandemic scary times helps us to sustain us in so many ways. What especially moves me are those visionaries who established the school against difficult odds, those teachers of distinction who gave body and soul to our students, and those devoted parents who helped build and maintain our incredible institution. So in many ways, we owe gratitude and respect to our past that enabled us as Herzlians to have a unique DNA embedded in our very essence. A D for dedication to our family, community, and to Israel. N for nostalgia for the past and for shared Herzliya experiences, feelings, and emotions, which jointly bind us together and keep us forever connected. And A for action. There's always been an expectation for us to be active, to be involved and engaged in our society, to be of service and to give back, fulfilling the motto of our school, Im tirtzu ein zo agada. If you will it, you will make it happen, and with honor. A hearty mazal tov to Herzliya and all those involved. We excel in the glory of our school's outstanding accomplishments and our alumni who fill us with pride and deep respect. Shalom.
Good day to you from Sydney, Australia. My name is Jeff Cohen, Jeff with a J. I had the great privilege of working at Herzliya High School from 1992 to 2002. As a maths teacher, as head of matric, and then as principal from 1997 to 2002. I had the honor and the privilege of being brought into Herzliya by the great, incomparable Solly Kaplinsky, and I worked with the other Jeff Cohen, the less good-looking one, with David Ginsburg, and with a series of remarkable other teachers and educators, people like Chava Glanger and Marianne Marks, the late Avril Roy, and many, many others. I also had the great privilege of working with some extraordinary board members, such as Arthur Gillis, but above all, I got to work with some of the most amazing young people in the world, those gorgeous, magnificent Herzliyans who came through our school during those years, and of course there were many who came through before and since. I was also privileged to be part of the institution of the inclusion program at Herzliya. In my life, the greatest thing I've ever participated in. An absolutely wonderful undertaking which I know has flourished and continues to flourish to this day. Herzliya is the greatest school on earth. The Herzliya Ruach is unique in the world. I've traveled the world, I've lived all over the world, I've taught in many, many countries. I've never been to a school anything like Herzliya. It is absolutely amazing. I was part of the 60th anniversary celebrations. I'm proud to be able to send you this message in the year 2020 to be part of the 80th anniversary celebrations and to say go strength to strength, mazal tov, kol hakavod to everybody at Herzliya, im tirtzu ein zo agada.
Thanks so much, Solly and Jeff, for your beautiful messages. I so remember way back in 1982, Solly, when I started as a teacher at Herzliya. You were the principal of the middle school, so it's really so lovely to see you remembering all the beautiful things about Herzliya and your time as head of Herzliya School. And Jeff, great buddy of mine, I so remember how we used to jack around and play the fool with both of us having the same name. In fact, we even have the same second name, Jeff Allen Cohen, and we used to have a lot of fun with that. You were principal of the high school, I was principal of the middle school. those memories come flooding back. And there's so many other similarities that we have. So I know you're watching, so I hope you're enjoying this.
And I remember, Solly, when you were the school, I don't know what it was called at that time, but the school psychologist or the school
therapist. School psychologist.
Yeah, and I remember that, and of course, close connection to Solly and our family because my father grew up in the same block of flats. This is
his
like
family.
Macrocosms and microcosms of connections. It's really very, very special felt today.
Yeah, the circles just keep going on. And I'm getting older and older and older, and the lay leaders are getting younger and younger and younger. So it's quite strange for me that the chairman of the school now is an ex-pupil of mine, and his wife is an ex-pupil of mine. And they both met at Herzliya School, and they're married today with 2 beautiful children at Herzliya. So I'd like to introduce you to the current chairman of Herzliya School, Matthew Grist. Over to you, Matt.
Hello everybody, I'm Matt Gruz and I'm the current chairperson of the United Herzliya Schools. With me today I've got my wife Carrie, my son Daniel and my daughter Georgia. Daniel and Georgia are both happy pupils at Herzliya Weitzman Primary, and Carrie and I are both Herzliya alumni, both class of 96. I met her in 1992 in our standard 6th year, and things have never been the same since then. It's my absolute pleasure to wish Herzliya a wonderful 80th birthday, and I look forward to the celebrations.
It's really been the most incredible experience being here today. We knew it was going to be good, but it's just exceeded all expectations, just from our hearts to have experienced what we have through our hearts and just through all of the beautiful messages and the chats that we're continuing to have a look at. I know that there are a lot of you who came in late or want to make sure that you can see it again or tell other people that they can actually see this beautiful celebrating Herzliya 80 years. So what everybody who registered for this event will receive tomorrow from the Herzliya Foundation Trust will be an email with a link to the full recording, and it'll also be put on the Herzliya YouTube channel, so you're able to see it and share it, and it doesn't end here.
And Lisa, thanks so much for agreeing to host this with me. It's been wonderful. Lots of nostalgia, lots of memories. And yes, some tears.
Yes.
I've had a few messages coming in saying that they've been crying throughout the show. So thank you everybody for watching. And what would a celebration be without a cake? So guys, let's bring on the cake.
Good evening, everyone. One of the things that I was struck by since I joined Herzliya in January this year is this incredible sense of a family. It became clear to me that Herzliya is much more than just a school. It is a family. It's a community that stretches beyond the Jewish community of Cape Town and far beyond. I've learned that thousands of alumni all over the world has become successful, community-minded global citizens that are successful, and that Herzliya has played a big part in the success that they've reached. I've been watching this 80th movie with the student leaders, and I just found that it's so incredible to see the history and how it's embedded in the school, and my aim of taking the school into the future is to make sure that we build onto that foundation and make the school even greater. Our job is to make sure that our pupils become successful global citizens, and they are faced with a world that is almost unimaginable. So I'm so delighted to be joined here by the student leaders, the community leaders of the future, and I'm going to ask the current head student, Benjamin Zar, to light the birthday candle for us. Benjamin. And let's sing. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Herzliya. Happy birthday to you.
אש, רימון, תאנה ותמר.
היום יום הולדת בחג לארץ אבותיי, בהורה סוחפת נצא במחול ויחד נשיר על בלי די. סובו מעגלים, שירו להילולים,
מי זו חוגגת בעין שנים, ישראל שלי.
הדליקו האורות, שירו בכיכרות,
הניפו למעלה את כל הדגלים, ישראל שלי.
שבנו אלייך לכאן מקצווי תבל, באנו לבנות בחולי בנות ארץ ישראל.
סובו מעגלים, שירו להילולים,
מי זו חוגגת בעין שנים, ישראל שלי.
הדליקו האורות, שירו בכיכרות, הניפו למעלה את כל הדגלים, ישראל שלי.
בכל מקום, כל הזמן, יש לכולנו מגדול ועד קטן, ימים יפים וגם פחות, וביניהם תשובה לכל השאלות. יש אלוהים אחד גדול, ובעולם הזה נותן לנו הכל, בין אפלה לקרן אור, את הנתיב אנחנו רק צריכים לבחור, וזה ידוע, חיים הם מתנה, הכל צפוי והרשות נתונה. מי שמאמין לא מפחד, את האמונה לאבד, ולנו יש את מלך העולם, והוא שומר אותנו מכולם. מי שמאמין לא מפחד, את האמונה לאבד, ולנו יש את מלך העולם, והוא שומר אותנו מכולם. אשרינו! העם הזה הוא משפחה, אחד ועוד אחד זה סוד ההצלחה. עם ישראל לא יוותר, תמיד על המפה אנחנו נשאר, וזה ידוע, חיים הם מתנה, הכל צפוי והרשות נתונה. מי שמאמין לא מפחד, את האמונה לאבד, ולנו יש את מלך העולם, והוא שומר אותנו מכולם. מי שמאמין לא מפחד, את האמונה לאבד, ולנו יש את מלך העולם, והוא שומר אותנו מכולם. מצווה גדולה להיות בשמחה, להיות
מהומה